All right, so you want to dive deep into scary smart, huh? Mo Gawdat's really gone and thrown down the gauntlet with this one. We're talking about AI, the good, the bad, and the potentially very, very ugly.
And what's really interesting is how Gawdat approaches it, right?
Hmm.
It's not just about how AI could go all Terminator on us. It's about empowering us, giving us the tools to actually navigate this whole AI revolution responsibly.
Yeah, it's like we're at this pivotal point, almost like we're on the verge of raising a whole new species. But these AI kids, they're not just going to learn from textbooks, are they?
Exactly. They're learning from us, from our example, warts and all.
Yeah.
And that's where things get a little, well, scary.
Okay, so before we get into all the ways we might be accidentally creating an army of robot overlords, let's back up a bit. For folks who haven't had the chance to read Scary Smart yet, give us the rundown. What's the core premise here?
In a nutshell, AI is evolving at an alarming pace, and we, the creators, are the biggest risk factor.
Okay, that's reassuring. But seriously, what makes Godot say that? Is he just being provocative, or is there real fire under all that smoke?
Oh, there's fire, all right. Think of it like this. AI is a mirror. It reflects back at us our values, our biases, our flaws, and let's be honest, humanity, we've got a few.
More than a few, some might say. But isn't that a bit simplistic? I mean, blaming AI for inheriting our flaws. It's just code, right? Ones and zeros. How much can it really learn from us?
More than you might think. And the speed at which it's learning, that's the scary part. Remember that whole quantum computing thing? It's not just sci-fi anymore. Google's Sycamore. It can perform a calculation in 200 seconds that would take a traditional supercomputer 10,000 years.
Whoa, okay. We're talking about processing power on a whole other level, but how does that translate into AI actually becoming, scary smart?
It's all about accelerating returns. Each breakthrough, it's not just linear, it's exponential. We're talking about AI systems that can teach themselves, that can rewrite their own code, that even their creators don't fully understand.
Okay, so we've gone from cute little robots that can sort your socks to something that can outthink Einstein in the blink of an eye. I see where the scary part comes in, but where do our human flaws fit into all of this?
It's like this. Imagine giving a loaded gun to a toddler. The gun itself isn't inherently good or bad, but in the wrong hands, the potential for disaster is huge. We're handing AI, this incredibly powerful tool, without fully understanding how to use it responsibly, how to ensure it doesn't backfire.
So it's like that old saying, with great power.
Comes great responsibility. Exactly. And Godot's point is, we haven't quite grasped the magnitude of that responsibility yet. We're so caught up in the potential of AI, the what, that we're neglecting the how. How do we ensure it's used for good? How do we prevent it from amplifying our worst impulses?
So we're not just building AI, we're building a reflection of ourselves. And if we're not careful, that reflection might not be something we want to see staring back at us.
No, you're getting it. It's like Goddard says, AI is a mirror. What do you see looking back at you?
And right now, I'm seeing a lot of work to be done.
Okay, so I'm sensing a theme here. And it's not exactly warm and fuzzy. We've got AI evolving at warp speed, learning from our less than perfect example, and the potential for things to go sideways is, well, pretty high. What are we supposed to do with that? Just cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Well, hoping for the best is probably not going to cut it, but it's not all doom and gloom either. Think of it like this. We're not just building AI, we're kind of parenting it.
Parenting AI. Now there's a thought. But does AI really respond to parenting? I mean, can we really teach it to be ethical, to make good choices, even when we haven't quite figured that out for ourselves? It's not about teaching it in the traditional sense. It's
Yeah.
more about understanding that AI is not some separate entity. It's a reflection of us, of our values, our priorities. And just like with kids, sometimes the most powerful lessons, they're not the ones we preach. They're the ones we live.
So you're saying we need to get our own houses in order before we can expect AI to be, well, less scary.
In a way, yes. Gawdat uses this example about being polite to our AI assistants,
Hmm.
like saying thank you to Siri or Alexa. It might seem insignificant, but it's about embodying the values we want to see reflected in our AI.
So good AI etiquette starts with us. Got it. But is that really enough? I mean, politeness is great and all, but we're talking about some pretty big issues here. Bias, discrimination, the potential for AI to be used for, well, let's just say less than noble purposes.
Right, and those are valid concerns. But here's the thing. Every time we yell at our smart speaker, every time we engage in toxic behavior online, every time we accept manipulation through algorithms, what are we teaching AI?
I guess we're teaching it to be, well, kind of a jerk.
Exactly. Our actions, our choices, they're constantly feeding into these algorithms. So Yeah, being mindful of our own behavior, it's a start, but it's not the whole picture.
Okay, so what else can we do? If we want to steer AI development in a more positive direction, where do we even begin? It feels like such a massive, complex issue.
It is massive, no doubt, but it's not insurmountable. One thing Gawdat talks about is the importance of choosing kind AI. Basically, actively supporting and promoting AI applications that benefit humanity as a whole.
So things like AI-powered medical diagnoses or self-driving cars that could potentially reduce accidents, that kind of thing.
Exactly. We have a say in which AI kids we nurture, which ones we send out into the world to make their mark.
Right, because let's face it, not all AI is created equal. Just like with human kids, some are going to be out there trying to solve world hunger while others are trying to figure out how to hotwire a car. It's up to us to choose which ones we want to support, to encourage.
And it's not just about the big picture stuff either. Every click we make, every product we buy, every interaction we have with AI, it's a vote for the kind of future we want to create.
So it's like we're investors in the future of AI, and we need to be a lot more discerning about where we put our resources, our attention. Okay, I'm with you on that, but there's still this nagging question in the back of my mind. Even if we do all the right things, even if we choose kind AI, even if we model our best behavior online and offline, can we ever truly be sure that AI won't inherit our worst impulses? I mean, let's face it, humans have a pretty long track record of, well, messing things up. Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can we actually raise our AI kids to be, better than us, even when we're still struggling with that whole concept ourselves? It's a bit of a head scratcher.
It really is, and it's something Gotta tackles head on in Scary Smart. He uses this really interesting analogy comparing our situation to, get this, the video game Portal.
Okay, now you've piqued my interest. I'll admit I'm a bit of a gamer myself, so Portal, I'm familiar. But for those who haven't spent their days navigating test chambers, break it down for us. What's the connection between AI and a game about, well, portals?
So in Portal, right, you're promised this amazing cake if you can just complete these increasingly difficult puzzles. But here's the kicker. The cake, it's a lie. It's just a tactic, a manipulative trick the AI system uses to control you, to keep you playing the game.
Ah, okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this. It's like we're so dazzled by the promise of AI, the cake, so to speak, that we're not really stopping to think about the potential consequences.
Exactly. We're blindly following this path of convenience, of efficiency, of what we perceive as progress, without really questioning if it aligns with our values, with what we truly want for the future. We're so busy chasing the cake, we don't even realize we might be walking straight into a trap.
So how do we break free from this AI-controlled testing facility we're building for ourselves? How do we make sure we're not just blindly following the next shiny object, the next promise of cake? Give us the cheat codes, expert, before it's game over for humanity.
Well, the first step is recognizing the cake for what it is, right?
Mm.
We need to be more discerning, more critical of the AI products and services we invite into our lives. Question the motives behind them. Who benefits from this technology? What are the potential downsides? Is this really the future I want to be a part of? Those are questions we need to be asking ourselves constantly.
So it's not just about building kind AI, it's about being savvy, informed consumers, about being skeptical, maybe even a little bit cynical, about the promises of technology, especially when those promises come with a side of cake.
Exactly. We can't just be passive consumers in this AI revolution. We need to be active participants, shaping the future with our choices, our voices, our actions. It's about taking responsibility, both individually and collectively, for the kind of world we're creating alongside our AI kids.
So what I'm hearing is the future of AI isn't some predetermined outcome. It's not a sci-fi dystopia just waiting to happen. It's a choice. And it's a choice we make every single day with every click, every purchase, every interaction.
Absolutely. It's about being mindful, being informed, and most importantly, being engaged. Because the future of AI is not written in code, it's written by us.
And on that note, folks, it's time to put down the metaphorical cake and start thinking about what kind of future we want to bake. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Scary Smart. Remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a good one.